You know, learning to code in C is a lot like learning a brand new language. Because, well, it is one. And just like any language, whether it's Spanish or Japanese, it all starts with the alphabet. So today, we're going right back to the very beginning to understand the characters that are the fundamental building blocks of every single C program.
Okay, let's dive right in. This image here, it lays out our entire journey perfectly. Think about English. We start with letters, we combine them into words, then we build sentences. C works the exact same way. We start with a set of characters. We combine those into words, things like variables and keywords. Then those words form instructions. And finally, a whole bunch of instructions gives us a complete program. It's a really simple, logical progression.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the alphabet of C. And it's kind of wild when you think about it. Every single piece of C code ever written, from that first Hello World program to a massive complex operating system, is built from this exact same set of basic characters. So what is the character set? Honestly, think of it as the official dictionary of symbols for the C language. If a character you type isn't in this set, the C compiler, which is the tool that reads your code, is just going to look at it and have no idea what you're talking about. It won't recognize it. It's like trying to use an emoji in a formal essay, it just doesn't compute. So here's the breakdown. The C alphabet basically comes in 5 flavors. You've got your lowercase and uppercase letters, which we all know. You've got your digits, 0 through 9. Then you have this whole toolbox of special characters. We're talking plus signs, curly braces, ampersands, you name it. And finally, you have white spaces, and these are super important. They include spaces, tabs, and new lines that make our code readable for us humans. Okay, so we've got our letters and symbols. But here's a question. How does a computer, which only gets ones and zeros, understand something like the letter A or the number 7? Well, the answer is a really clever translation system that bridges that gap between our world and the machines. And that answer is ASCII. You've probably heard of it. It's basically the universal translator for computers. It's a standard system that gives every single valid character its own unique number. So when you hit a key on your keyboard, the computer doesn't see the letter, it sees the ASCII number. This was the standard back when C was born, and that's why it's so baked into the language's DNA. And this is a perfect example. The uppercase A, to the computer, that's the number 65. But the lowercase a, that's 97. To us, they are the same letter, but for the computer, totally different things, each with its own unique binary code. And that right there is the fundamental reason why C is a case-sensitive language. Age is not the same as age. Okay, we've got our letters. So what's next? Well, we start making words. And in the world of C programming, these words have a special name. They're called tokens. So what's a token? It's the smallest piece of a C program that actually means something. Think of it like a word or even a single punctuation mark in a sentence. When the compiler looks at your code, its very first job is to break it all down into these tiny tokens to start making sense of it. And look at that, we're back to our roadmap. See how it all fits together? We started with characters, now we see how they combine to make tokens, like identifiers and keywords, and from there, those tokens are used to build instructions, and the instructions create our program. It's a really elegant structure when you lay it all out. Now, there are a few different kinds of tokens in C, and they each have their own job. Identifiers are the names we create. Keywords are like the reserved vocabulary of the language. Constants are fixed values, and operators are what perform actions. We're going to zoom in on identifiers for now, because those are the names that we, the programmers, get to come up with. All right, enough theory. Let's see how this works in the real world. We're going to use our C alphabet to create some valid identifiers, which are just the names we give to things like the variables that hold data in our programs. So an identifier is just a name. It's that simple. Let's say you want to store someone's age in your program. You might create a variable and call it user age. That name, user age, is the identifier. It's like a label on a box in the computer's memory, so you can find that data easily. But you can't just name them anything you want. There are some rules. And here are the rules of the game. First up, an identifier must start with a letter or an underscore. No numbers allowed at the beginning. After that first character, you can use letters, numbers, or underscores. You also can't use a word that's already reserved by the C language, like int. And, as we said, it's case sensitive, so age with a capital A is totally different from age with a lowercase a. This slide makes it super clear. On the left, total underscore sum, underscore index, totally fine. But on the right, not so much.
First place is a no-go because it starts with a number, and total dash sum is invalid because it has a hyphen, which isn't one of our allowed special characters. These are exactly the kinds of little mistakes that can drive you crazy when you're starting out.
So, why are we spending all this time on just the alphabet? I mean, it seems so basic, right? Well, it's because getting this stuff down is absolutely crucial. It's not optional. It is the bedrock that the entire grammar or syntax of the C language is built on. This quote from our source material just nails it. The words formed from the character set are building blocks of C. Every single thing you will ever write in C, every variable, every function, every complex algorithm, it all starts right here. Everything. So what's the big takeaway here? Knowing this stuff isn't just academic, it's super practical. It helps you create valid names for your variables. It helps you recognize the language's special keywords. And most importantly, it helps you avoid those simple yet super frustrating syntax errors that every single new programmer runs into. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. The C language, built from this very set of characters, was used to create foundational operating systems like Unix and Windows. It all begins with these simple little building blocks. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with them?